record here. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. It is another episode of Open Lines. Very, very interested in this episode. Happened all of a sudden, and I'm very, very happy to have our guest because I'm intrigued. And we have an open book here. So raw_bull2. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on? Thank you for having me also.
No problem. This, I've been reaching out to a couple of people and I've gotten a lot of no's. So when the opportunity arose and you answered positively, no pun, you were, it was,
I love it.
it was really, really cool. It was very cool. And I know that you may have been available tomorrow, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this right now. Like everything was it was moving. Let's do it. Raw Bull, I mentioned to you a little bit in our conversation on Twitter that Open Lines, the way I format this is speaking about kinks and fetishes. And I'm just going to quote real quick. To me,
Yeah.
To me, not a fetish. I actually have been passing on my virus to many guys that really wanted to be infected. So what we're talking about is for what other people would call Poz Fetish.
Yeah.
What if it's not Poz Fetish to you, what is it called to you?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think to me directly, I think it's just fetish in general is just something that, we get this idea in our heads that just makes it so sexually attractive and just want to connect with that person because that's just something that you both are into. But for me, that's actually a really great question because I don't really think that it has a direct name. I think that it just simply started from me just, obviously I was messing around a lot. I love men. If I've been at top the majority, I've bottomed very few. But yeah, I think I had someone who actually passed it on to me. And then ever since then, it's not like I started it like that, but it's just that it's just been something that just gets guys going. It gets their attention. They're very sexually active in it, and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the fact that they actually, even like I mentioned to you and through our messaging, I've had many people who actually reached out to me like, "Hey, yeah, listen, I want to come out to New York City at this time and let's hook up, man. Definitely give me what you have."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. I have no problem with that at all." But yeah, that's pretty much how it is. I for me, yeah, it's not called a fetish. I just, I do my thing and have fun.
So I'm going to clear it up just for people that might not know what we're talking about. Still, it goes under various names. I remember it was introduced to me in an article back in 2003 about gift giving.
Yeah, I know a lot
Giving.
about that.
Yeah, so gift giving and bug chasing.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am just almost 30, 29.
Okay, so I'm about 10 years older than you are. You grew up with HIV/AIDS kind of already in.
Mm-hmm.
It was in circulation. I'm trying to think. So 1996, that's when medication was going out there, and by that I mean just like meds where people can stay with a low viral load. When did you become positive?
That was a very long time ago. We're talking, to remember the exact date, no idea. But the year, this is what, 2022 now. So I would estimate about just about 5 to 6 years at this point.
Okay.
It's actually pretty interesting on my story about that.
By all means, I'm
But
curious.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's simply yeah. It's so it took place about within that time from 5 to 6 years ago. I was much younger, of course, but I was even really much more sexually active. Like I just was exploring like crazy. At that point, obviously, yeah, I knew about the HIV and all the STDs and stuff. And I remember talking to some guy. I think he was like on, I think Adam or some social media gay platform. I couldn't remember exactly, but we was having this conversation, and I remember like it was just yesterday. We was having this talk, and I remember one thing that he said. He was like, "Dude, honestly, bro, I just am so tired of like worried about like catching HIV or whatever, and I just want to have fun and not have any worries." And I mean, at that point, I mean, I wasn't like so into it. I was like, "All right, I mean, is that sure what you want?" He was like, "Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to have like to worry about just like catching it. I mean, if I already have it, then fuck it. I already have it. I just live freely." I mean, at that point, I had no idea, and I was like total in disagreement.
hmm
But then it wasn't until like for later,
hmm
until my crazy mind tuned in. It was like kind of have a point in a way, but then again, for the other person that's like big on health, they won't see it that way. So I totally understand, and I respect everybody's point of view.
hmm
So anyway, going forward, yeah, it was like a months later down the road, I met this guy, and this guy was like, "Hey, yeah, you want to hook up?" I was like, "Yeah." And at that point, I was a bottom. Yeah, I wasn't always the top. At that point, I actually started out as a bottom,
hmm
and I met this guy through, I think it was Grinder from, no, it was Jacked actually, it was Jacked, because I think that's the point in time when I got my first apartment. But anyway, I met this guy. He's like 6'3", very masculine, basketball built body. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, he's fucking hot, like hell yeah.
hmm
And yeah, he explained this to me. It's like, hey, I'm definitely, yeah, I'm HIV positive, whatever. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I didn't have a problem with, people being, I was pause friendly anyway. I mean, I knew there was people who were on meds, but I didn't know if anybody who was off.
hmm
I mean, obviously, I don't blame the person for giving to me because, I mean, I was definitely going around a lot without any protection. So I knew the risks, I knew the terms, I wasn't like pissed off about anything. But anyway, so we hooked up, yeah, we had sex, and dude was fucking amazing pleasure. I ended up did catching it from him. Like, he was very open and honest about it. And, I mean, the when I found out I had it, I mean, I wasn't like again, I was there was like no animosity towards him again. So it was like, yeah, I enjoyed the pleasure. I knew like the risks and stuff. But at the same time, I had a lot of fun. Like I honestly didn't feel like I was like had any regret. I mean, I was just really, really into it and in tune, and the pleasure was amazing. And even like now, it's pretty surprising and shocking because there actually are a lot of guys out there who, and I mean, I have messages across the board, even from people who are like from overseas,
hmm
and they're like, "Yeah, hell, I have." It's like I even had some guys come up from Texas, and they spent the night over in New York, and I definitely passed it on to them as well. There are even people from Europe who want to come out and meet me later on this summer, which I find it amazing because there's actually a lot more, and I think that it's just not talked about enough.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems to be a lot more discreet.
hmm
So I think that's what it is too. But in retrospect, in reality, there are actually a lot more people who actually prefer raw than, having to use protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the big thing where the prep thing came in,
hmm
with the taking the pill for undetectable because a lot more people enjoy the raw pleasure, which is true in the gay culture. I mean, that's a dominant thing in sexual aspects.
hmm
So so yeah, I mean, I've always been open about it, especially when I started my Twitter. Unfortunately, my Twitter got shut down. I had like over 5,000 followers and then had to redo another one. So
Did your Twitter get shut down because of what you were posting?
but well, that of course that, but then again, it was also I think someone did send me a DM and they were saying something. I don't remember word for word, but it was just something that they felt like was in a disagreement. But then Twitter ended up shutting it down. Then I got my Twitter back up and running with almost, I think we're almost at 3,000 followers again, which is great for me. I'm happy that my followers did follow me back. But then the same person ended up attempting the report again, and then Twitter actually emailed me, and I read the email. I actually posted the email on my Twitter, and they're saying that they actually read it, and I can read it word for word, and they said that the content that was exposed onto the social media website is not at fault, we will not terminate your Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
You may proceed with current video and uploading. So I actually found out who this person was. I respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
I won't
That's fine. That's
put
good.
his name out there, but yeah, I did message him, and he ended up selling it or not doing any more reports to my account. I have no idea why this guy goes around to do reports, but yeah, that's his thing. But so yeah, so ultimately, I mean, this bug chasing thing, I mean, it's a really big thing, and I think that it's just not, again, it's not talked about enough. It's actually more discreet than anything. But there's a lot of people out there. I mean, a lot of them. I met a lot of them.
So let me.
So
There's a couple of questions I have.
sure, sure.
Just to be clear, you weren't out there chasing anything. You just happened to be sexually active and
Yeah,
raw,
yeah,
raw dogging it, right? That
yeah,
in
yeah.
layman's terms.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was the feeling like for you when you found out? I assume you got tested, or I assume you got sick, and uh,
Well, for me, I mean, I think that's the thing, and I'm happy that you actually asked that. A lot of people think that you go through these death moments. I mean, no, it's nothing like that. It's not like you wake up in a casket the next day.
mhm, mhm,
I don't want people to think that at all. And I think that people publicly already also know that. But my feeling to it, I mean, I didn't have any emotion in terms of how my body was feeling and of sickness or anything like that. The only thing that had honestly happened was just I had a slight fever, and they end up doing a test, and then they end up telling me, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then and that's pretty
yeah,
much all that was. I mean, I think you can say like there was a little bit of like careless action, but at the same time, I'm an honest person, so I'm very open about things. So yeah, I didn't have any like emotion at it. Like I knew the guy who already said he told me he had it.
mhm,
So I mean, obviously, there's also a possibility that something might happen to you in the long run, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I didn't again, I didn't have any like hate emotion. I wasn't like crying or, upset or thinking about life, like none of that. Like
mhm,
I was honestly just saying like, fuck it, just live life. I mean, even if you don't go from that, there's something else you go from. Even getting hit by a car.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, I think what it is that for me, I'm very like a person that just like, just live it to the fullest extent. You're gonna get one life, whatever. So yeah, there was definitely like no negative emotion behind it. That was, it was all neutral and
so not
kind of cool about it.
no fear, no thought of, like, if you were born in the 80s, you probably, well, you said it happened 6 years ago. If you were born in the 80s,
Yeah.
there were the chances of you being around for 6 years would have been rare.
Yeah. I think yeah. There's actually I had a talk with a guy over on WhatsApp,
Mhm,
and he was saying something similar like that. I mean, obviously you still have people that would give you the rundowns with those speeches,
mhm.
and I respect all points of view. I don't.
Yeah, and I'm
There
not.
are things that
Uh-huh,
others do that even I don't agree with. I still respect it. It's all a
absolutely.
part of our gay culture. It's all a part of the dynamic of how things work. There are a lot of things that each other does that we don't agree on, but there's a lot of fetishes that are out there that other
Hmm.
people do like.
Absolutely.
Even water sports. Like there's a lot of guys that enjoy doing water sports. I know guys that they like drinking water sports,
Hmm.
and it's so even if it's not my thing, there's someone else's thing. So
Yeah.
I respect it no matter what.
Well, see, I absolutely agree with you, and my questions come from a place of non-judgment. There are people that love everything, and I've worked in an industry that was doing bareback porn, or companies that were doing bareback porn before bareback porn was
Yeah,
accepted
yeah.
by all the major studios. The thing is, and it will always come up, there there absolutely is a big difference between water sports and something. For you, it's a way of life. For other
Oh yeah,
people,
of course.
for other people, a pause fetish, yeah, that's something that a lot of people will not be able to grasp. They,
Yeah, I can definitely explain understand that. And just to go into more detail again, but the first time I had this conversation with this guy, there's actually, and I even have conversations with a lot of men, like throughout my day, especially on WhatsApp and Twitter. I've been posted my number up, and a lot of guys hit me up through other countries, states, and towns and cities.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, and I'm talking out of like the almost 3,000 followers that I have. I at least get about, out of honesty, 80 to 120 messages per day.
Wow.
I can't respond to them all of them at the same time because there are other things to do. My point is about it is that there are a lot of people, and on me a lot, and I think people don't realize how many because it's so discreetly done.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm more on the exposure side and like open about it with honesty, and
Hmm.
everybody who I've ever hooked up with, they are fully aware about it. So it's not like I'm not telling them. Like
Yeah.
everybody already knows. So, and I'm okay with people knowing. Like there's nothing to hide. I'm very open about my sex life, and I love sex. I love raw. I think it's really the best fucking pleasure possible. To really answer the question about it, it's like a lot of people really now, and I'm noticing it big time. People really would love to actually have it raw than anything and not have to worry about the fear of it because I've get messages about that a lot and I'm talking a lot. Like they don't want to worry about it anymore. Like they're tired of thinking about it. Like if they're not on prep, then they just kind of be like, you know what, whatever, it is what it is. Let's just have fun. And I've done it a lot. I think like in 2020, I've had encounters with about almost 300 men. Yeah.
And all of them wanted you
Yeah,
to
yeah. Like there are, I even post up the messages. Sometimes I do like snapshots of conversations. I'm
yeah.
not sure if you can look at my Twitter account. Once again, it is raw underscore bull two. And if you scroll down, there are some snapshots of it. And I like the guy. There was someone like I think it was like last month. He was like, "Yeah, definitely like I want to come over to your house and hook up." I was like, "Yeah, cool. I just want to let you know, hey, look, I'm HIV positive. If we hook up, it's more than likely you'll have it too." He was like, "Yeah, fuck it, whatever. Let's check up." I was like, "Okay, cool." So
Mm.
I sent him my address, and he came over, and I think now he has it now. Like, yeah, but again, I'm 100% open and honest about it. There's like no hiding it at all. So it's like it's not there. Granted, there are some people who actually do it discreetly and secretly and don't tell the
Yeah.
person,
Well,
you know?
that's
Yeah.
where, yeah,
So
I want to make sure, I want to make sure, I know you probably don't care when it comes to what people think, but
yeah,
I do just want to make sure that they do understand how open you are on your page.
yeah,
I'm looking right now,
yeah.
and yeah, no, it's well, funny enough, when you said that you get a whole bunch of messages, your first response to me was, "When are you free to have me breed you?" And I was like, "Oh, I think he's, I think he misunderstood
Yeah,
what I
because
was
that's
trying to
normally
do."
what guys really like. That's like the
Yeah,
target thing. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's find out when I can put this guy in a schedule and
yeah.
figure out when I can get to him.
Oh boy, so it's a schedule that you have.
Yeah, I have to. It's no, dude. It's no way. It's no way to actually meet 80 people in a day. I mean, I'll be out of sperm. Are you kidding me? I think my busiest week that I've ever had encounters was probably like the ending of 2020. I've met like 10 people in 1 week. So yeah, dude, I think I posted on my Twitter. I was like, dude, I'm out of nut. I'm so tired.
What are these? What are your not interactions online when you finally meet these guys? And you're in the room. It's all like, just breed me and give it to me, or like, that's the
So
first part of my
that's
question.
the thing though. The sexual attraction is just like fire, right? Because like it starts from the conversation,
Hmm.
and the conversation is already like gasoline. So I mean, as soon as we meet in person, it's like instant explosion. And again, these guys are obviously attracted to me, and by what I do and what I have and what I can give to them, and the fetishes and whatever. And I think for the fact that I'm like a no limit guy, it's like so easier to like have that kind of sexual connection because I'm pretty much like open to like anything, like let's just have fun. So when I am with that person in the room, it's dude, first of all, I'm pounding someone's ass extremely hard. That's number one. My videos show it, but sometimes I have to like slow down the videos so people can actually see the action itself.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty much like clothes off in the bed. We're going full status.
Um, have you had anybody change their mind?
That no, you'll be shocked.
Really?
No, no, no. I mean, not. Not at all. No, I haven't till this very day. No, not at all. Not that I can. Not a message that I can remember. Again,
Hmm.
it's like 80 to 120. It could have been a message that could have said that, and I didn't just catch it, and me and that
Hmm.
person just never met.
Let's go back a little bit before.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's go back to when you were younger. Do you? How were you? Is this just like, were you sexually active at a young age?
Oh, yeah. I mean, hell yeah. I think, but that's the thing with being gay. I think you're kind of born with of an explosion inside your nutsack to like want to just experience so many things, and
Hmm.
like your mind is just so curious. And I think we all have gone through that. And
Hmm.
I mean, no matter if you like using condom or not, or whatever your fetish is, or whatever you like, or whatever you prefer in the bed, that men generally are just sexually active. But yeah, I was definitely very active, and I had a curious George mindset. So I
Hmm.
mean, definitely, yeah, I got out there. I've learned. I think the first time when I was like really active, that was right after the Sidekick cell phone era. So
Yeah.
that's where everything really pretty much started from.
Well, did you? What about porn? What relationship did you have with porn growing up?
I
I
used
don't,
to watch
yeah,
porn a
I
lot,
don't know if you're
actually.
I don't know if you're trying, if you see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to the point. I'm trying to figure out when. Well, I know that you weren't bug chasing. I know that you already mentioned that, but I'm trying to figure
Hmm.
out. I'm trying to just figure out when. I always think that there's something that clicks in people's minds, right? Or something that happens
Hmm.
that kind of just says, "Oh, I really like this. I really like this." And then you keep exploring it and exploring it. So, I'm trying to figure out
Yeah,
when that
yeah,
moment happened, cuz a lot of times it does happen when we're younger. Um
yeah.
but yeah, this is so not I'm not it's not rare, obviously. It's not rare.
No, not at
Uh
all. Again, it's just not talked about enough.
yes, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm curious as to if there was anything while you were growing up, while you were in your teens, besides being sexually active, if there was anything that kind of led you to say, "Oh, well, I'm cool with this, and people are gonna want me to seed them up or pause them up or load them up."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
is there anything that you can remember or can think back to?
Well, it's not. It's really had that phase kind of shifted after I found out I was
Hmm.
positive, and the real depth of exploring just went to tenfold.
Okay.
Like, I mean, at that point, I was like, all right, well, I mean, at this point, I have it, whatever. Again, even before I had it, I already knew the risk of me like being like super curious out there, experiencing more pleasure and whatever. So yeah, once it did happen and after, I mean the urge to like want to definitely explore more. And again, I think we all do. And no matter if you know, are or not negative or positive, I think we all reach some point that we just want to just go in that additional mile to see like if I do like this, if I don't, until you get to the point where it's like, nah, that's too much for me,
Hmm.
you know? So yeah, for me, it was just after that point, I just kept going and going and going. And I honestly don't think I have reached a point to something where I do not like it. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so I haven't reached that point yet. I mean, I'm sure it's something, but I haven't figured it out yet.
So you've constantly put up that you are positive, and
Yeah, yeah.
everybody who's interested will get to you. How do you feel about you are not on medication?
I haven't been. No, I haven't been.
So if and when you get sick,
Hmm.
what does that look like to you, and how would that?
So interesting thing, I've actually have had gone to. I mean, I have a doctor.
Mhm.
Obviously, everybody has a doctor. No matter how much you see them or not. But anyway,
Well,
yeah, I
not
have a
everybody.
doctor,
Not
and
everybody can afford a doctor. It's not.
well,
It's,
but
but
that's
you're
the
right.
thing. The
But I know
medical
what you're
system
saying.
in the United States, the medical system in the United States is really so bad. Not to go off topic, but I think a lot of people don't have health insurance because they don't want to fucking pay for rent times two.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's very expensive. And I trust me, if anybody out there who are positive or even not, and you not on meds or are, and you don't have a doctor, listen, look, I fully get it. Even though I don't care if you make 100K a year, no one wants to fucking pay the hospital bills. Okay,
Mm,
nobody.
yeah.
All right, and that's a proven fact. Nobody. But yeah, I do. I mean, for those who don't know or do, yes, I do have a doctor. Get checked up, and the thing is, I mean, can I go onto medication? Yes. Can I stay off? Yes, as well. I've get updates about the health all the time. My body has actually fully, shockingly, I have 100% immune to it, the virus. I live every single day without any symptoms or worries or anything showing or like there's no real effect my body is taking.
Hmm.
Literally, I would go through many different tests. I estimate I see my doctor like 4 or 5 times throughout the year, and over the 6 years course, the results have always been maintained the same. There has been nothing different. So, which is a rarity, as my specialist was saying, which is a
Hmm.
rarity because that never happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that's what blood work shows. Yeah. So again, there's no changes. I mean, going down the road as I get older, obviously our body changes no matter how healthy we are or how sick we are.
Hmm.
If there was to be a point in time where I kind of think maybe now is perfect time or, to get on it, to, extend of just a benefit for the sickness itself, then maybe so. But I mean, for now, I don't really have any worries about it.
So now you don't have any worries. However, there is the possibility of you saying at one point, maybe, that you
Yeah, I
can,
mean,
okay.
everything, I mean, hey, truth is truth. Nothing lasts forever in the world, right?
Hmm.
Right. So nothing lasts forever. So, I mean, there is a possibility of will I use it down the line? Possibly. I'm a person that never close off doors,
Yeah.
so I mean, I wouldn't say absolutely no, but I mean, if it gets to a point where I mean things are just looking on the downside, but for right now, for the past 6 years, it's been pretty decent, and there's nothing to worry about. So I mean, yeah, I'm not having any worries about it.
So you're not anti-medication. You're not anti.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've never even been anti pause with when I was negative and other men were pause. I've never been anti against anything. I think in the gay culture, one thing that I learned is when you go anti anything, they look at you as a different person,
Hmm.
right? So I think that's one thing that I learned very quick from very young. So I've always been a person with an open heart, open ear, open mindset. Even if I disagree with it, it's not me shading or disrespecting the other person. It's just a preference, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, there's definitely no anti of anything.
Because that's something that I remember people my age and people older than I was who didn't take medication and just got full blown AIDS and died. That's that was one of their big things was they didn't want to take anything.
Yeah,
So from what I gather, it is a possibility that 10, 20 years from now you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll get on meds and um
yeah. There
that's what I do.
definitely is a possibility, and it's not the fear of like having to like face death or anything like that. I mean, there's like I said, it doesn't matter. You can have the healthiest person in the world
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point in time, like
No, yeah,
all of us,
you seem fearless at this
Right,
point. I'm not taking that
right,
away from you.
right. So I mean, yeah, it's possibly another 10 years. We'll see. Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe. I mean, I don't put a date and time and
Hmm.
any year calculation on it, but no, there's it's a possibility in the future at some point. But as of right now, no.
Do you tell that to the guys that you are with, or do you have conversations like that with the guys that you're with?
Some rarely, not often.
No.
Rarely, no, not often. Yeah, it doesn't really come up much because they're just honestly into the sexual
Yeah,
action
yeah.
aspect.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's no room for
yeah.
that when
So
you're
no,
you
the
know.
conversations happen very quickly. I kid you not. I mean, like it takes like 10 seconds to get in that for me at least, and nothing to brag about, but I think it's so flattering that the fact these guys would love to honestly give me their bodies and, have the sexual experience with them in this counter. And they honestly freaking enjoyed it. I mean, I've had guys who I've hooked up with, and they end up going around and doing a thing, and they DM me and send their friends over to me. We had sex parties, and we even hanged out and gone to the movie theater. I mean, yeah, the bug chasing thing is actually a huge thing in the gay culture, but I don't think that people really know how big it is because it's
No.
such like an underground thing, but it's
Yeah.
bigger than you really think. It
No,
really
it
is.
is. It's huge, and it's been around for a long time. And I wrote a screenplay about it back in 2000
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2008. But even now, like while I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, I can only I can only imagine what listeners will think and how they'll react. However,
Hmm.
I genuinely think that everything out there needs to be talked about, because if it doesn't get talked about, that's when things get dangerous. You give everything a space or a place to exist, and people
Hmm.
people either choose what they want and what they don't, but then you don't have people deliberately hurting other people.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the reason why I chose to do a Twitter and do like public publicly to the gay culture,
Mhm.
especially like to like the ones that are like very so sexually active, and I'm highly sexually active. I mean, honestly, I have to breathe at least twice a day to stay mentally stable. I can't.
Mm.
I'm really highly sexually active, but the point is that, and I think I was explaining to you this earlier, is that I'm very honest and open about it, and there's nothing to hide from it. So the guys who I have encounter with, they know, and they understand, and they respect it. And again, there are people who do follow me, almost like 3,000 followers. And again, I have a lot of people that's like, yeah, definitely, I'm willing to hook up with you, and I want you definitely to pass it on to me because I don't want to worry about it anymore. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, that's your consent. You gave me the permission to your body, and we're just gonna have a good time. But there are a lot of people that do that,
Mhm.
but don't disclose it, and I think that's where it's the bad part about it, and I
Mhm.
think that's really what it makes it look bad. And not to say one side is better than the other. I think it's respectively. And I think that's the reason why I go so further into it.
Mhm.
It's because I'm giving the space, the respect of it, not just doing it like undercover. But I mean, then again, there is still an underground platform for it because it's not talked about. And there's a lot of guys that feel, shy or uncomfortable or kind of weird,
Mhm.
that's just a fetish thing. And like I said, hey, listen, I respect all. There's
Yeah.
no shade in anything that I do.
Yeah,
I
I think
respect all.
yeah, I
So
I I genuinely think that this will remain underground. Especially, there's been stories. I saw a documentary once in 98, 99, I think. Actually, no, 2003.
mhm.
And it gets squashed. And I think that it's going to stay that way because it's something that people do not want to talk about. They don't want to confront. And both sides of it, to me, kind of blow my mind. Like, people that are into Poz Fetish blows my mind, and also the people that do not address the fact that this stuff is happening blows my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so I have one last question, and
yeah, yeah.
with all due respect, there is no malicious intent that you have at all.
No,
Like, you're
no,
not
not
you.
at all. I
Okay,
mean,
okay,
my intention is really to have fun, enjoy my time.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's pretty much what all my Twitter is about. I mean,
yeah.
it's yeah, but just just hooking up, having a sexual good time. There's no animosity or
Hmm.
hate towards it. Like even the guy who gave it to me, I still talk to him. Like
Okay.
I sometimes hang out with him. Like yeah, listen, I have no hate on to my gay brothers, gay culture.
Hmm. Exactly. You're not this guy out there who's mad at the world because of what happened, and you're just giving it to everybody. That's not you.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. No, I mean, I find yeah, and I've like I said, I've definitely anybody who was ever hooked up, I've never not told anybody because obviously it's already publicly displayed on my Twitter.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've never not told anybody about it, but they all know, and I've hooked up a lot of times. Like I said, last year I had like almost 300 encounters. So, I mean, yeah, everybody who I've connected with fully knew. And we still talk, and through WhatsApp or through Twitter, there's still connection. I've had friends now through that sexual connection. So there's no, yeah, absolutely no hate, no
Mm.
yeah, no animosity.
No,
No,
yeah.
none
I
of
mean,
that.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, if anyone had a doubt, all they had to do is go on your Twitter page and see.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
I
a
got
hundred percent. Yeah.
this was and being 100% honest, this was not an easy conversation because it's like we spoke about, it's just something that you don't hear about every day.
Yeah.
So that's why,
Yeah, that is true. And I
yeah,
think those are the best kind of most interesting fucking conversations possible.
yeah, yeah.
It gets me hyped. Because it's something that is happening, but it's just not talked about.
Mhm.
But the thing is, when it comes to the sex life and gay culture, honestly, there really isn't like a limit type thing. People when guys get together, it's not that it's even thought about. It just goes in for the action. And there are some people who do show it and some who don't. Some has pride in what they do, like me. Like I have absolute pride and respect to the space that I give,
Mhm.
and some don't. And I don't knock you for it. I don't step on your shine or
Mhm.
whatever you want
Mhm.
to do. It's completely fine by me. There's no hate or animosity on my end. But yeah, again, it's just an underground thing,
Mhm.
and I don't think that it might not be hugely exposed, but like even how many people hear about this conversation, like thousands or hundreds or whatever, that's not gonna like prevent or slow it down or change any mindset, especially when it comes to like the single gay life.
Mhm.
That's you live in a place where it's like so easy to like hook up with guys, and like there's so many options and there's so many things you want to explore. Yeah, that's not gonna slow nothing down. That's just being truthful.
Do you get
Um,
do you get you get a lot of good attention? Do you get hate? Do you get hate from people? Do they send you messages and stuff?
no, no,
No. Okay.
no one does. No, I've not once. Yeah, I've anyone who goes onto my Twitter account and just sometimes see like the chats that I post up. Yeah, there's no people actually like, hey, listen, yo, I thank you so much, man. I enjoy the pleasure. I'm happy that you passed it on to me. I've posted conversations stuff like that a lot of time, and I still
Mhm.
talk to these people.
Okay.
They are, yeah, again, no hate, no disrespect, no intent, no negativity. Yeah, nothing like that. It's just enjoying the time, really. That's all it is.
So if anyone else has anyone that listens to this has questions, uh, are you open to those questions? Like, let's say they hit you up on Twitter. Is that okay?
Yeah, my account is open. There's
Okay.
definitely just it'll probably take a minute to respond because there are a lot of messages. But yeah, you can definitely tag me into the conversation or whenever you post it onto
Yeah.
your Twitter and your podcast. And yeah, I'm happy to have like any open conversation.
Well, look, I have to thank you very much for being uh excruciatingly open because
Yeah, I'm
that's
very am, and I
yeah.
really love it. And hey, listen, I love sex. I love talking about it. I'm very active. Like I said, I have sex at least like twice a day. I have to, especially when I wake up. I'm just like insanely horny,
Mm.
so I have to. Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
have to.
So again, I'm just gonna really quickly let people know you are on Twitter. Your name
Yeah,
is raw underscore bull bull2. Uh,
yeah,
if they have any questions, if they have anything that they'd like to talk to you about,
yeah, yeah,
that's where they can go and find you. And then I'm just gonna let people know too, demystifying gay porn. This is our podcast. This has been Open Lines. You can find us on every podcast directory. We're available on YouTube, and yeah, I got to thank you very much, Robul, for opening my eyes and just giving me a little more insight of this community, but also how you live your life. So
yeah.
I absolutely appreciate your honesty and your point of view.
No problem, man.
So
Happy to be on your podcast for
yeah,
this evening. Thank you so much for having me again.
once again, my name is Ike Grande. This is Demystifying Gay Porn, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Cheers.